Hello everyone, I am today with the famous bass player Dominik Wagner. We play a concert tonight in the Bruckner House in Linz. And welcome to my channel, Dominik. For those of us who don't know you yet, who are you and what exactly do you do?
Hello, my name is Dominik Wagner. I am a double bassist, as you can maybe at least partially see. And I perform around the world, and I'm a professor at the University of Music in Würzburg. And well, my main goal as a bassist, besides the teaching obviously, is to show the world that the bass is not only a fantastic bass instrument, which it definitely is, but that it also can be a beautiful melody instrument as a soloist in front of an orchestra, or like we played tonight, a recital in a duo constellation, or like we played last year in trio with violin, bass and piano. Yeah, that there's much more to this big fat monster than most people know.
We talked about that right now in a concert for children, that you actually started with the cello, but now you're on this great mission for the bass. How do you approach people who have never played the bass, and how do you encourage them to actually start with this beautiful instrument?
So for how to convince people to start playing the bass? Well, I think it depends on the age group. You know, I do a lot of education projects. I play often in schools, and I think that is so important, not only to show what the bass can do, but also to connect young people to classical music, to show them, hey, classical musicians are normal people. They're not all fancy, elitist kind of mindset people, but that we're normal human beings who just love classical music, and that classical music is for everyone, as well as the bass can be for everyone. I mean, the easiest thing to encourage people with is it has a nice feeling when you play the bass. You know, it's on the whole thing, the whole instrument vibrates, but you can feel it. And also the low notes, I think for beginners or at least for the parents of the beginners, it's a much easier, less torturous thing than like a violin, for example, or a trumpet, because it's not so loud and it's low and it sounds nice. And yeah, honestly, also then the more you play, you know, when I play on stage, holding this, like hugging kind of the bass, that's such a fantastic feeling. It's like having a human being there that you plus-sized, please.
Plus-sized, yeah. Yeah, and unlike the piano, unfortunately or fortunately, you don't have so much repertoire. So you are so active asking composers for new pieces. Maybe you can tell us a little bit what you have achieved so far and what great pieces you have already premiered on the bass.
Well, you know, there are many ways to expand repertoire. One thing is, of course, also to arrange, which I do a lot. We played last year my Rhapsody in Blue arrangement, for example, and then to find new constellations also. You know, for example, the violin-based piano constellation, normally there is not a lot for that constellation, yet we played a whole program like that. And last year I played about 10 concerts in that constellation. And so one thing is expanding the constellations through also arrangements, but then of course through commissions as well. And there I try to be, creative and flexible and work with many different styles of composers. To of course work with the very avant-garde contemporary style composers, but then to also go with different styles. Like, for example, tonight we play a piece by the South American composer Andrés Martín. And with him in 2022, I actually premiered, he's a bassist also, we premiered together at my Carnegie Hall debut recital. We premiered a new duo he wrote for two basses, which was an unforgettable experience. But also my dad, Wolfgang Wagner, who's a composer, I don't know, I've premiered like 10, 15 pieces by him over the years, and I played them again and again because they're just really fantastic music, so I'm very lucky there. But yeah, I try to work with a lot of different composers who compose in different styles, arrange from different periods of music history, because dead composers cannot write for bass anymore. But a lot of them actually arranged themselves or played with bassists. Beethoven, for example, played with Domenico Dragonetti, a double bassist from Italy, together his own cello sonatas. So the idea that we are not allowed to touch the pieces from the past, it's wrong. The composers themselves did that. So also there, finding out, obviously there I'm very picky, finding out which pieces can work and only choosing those who, in my eyes, then really work, because I don't want to compromise the music.
You have actually convinced me as well, because I have to be
Yes.
very honest. I was also, before I knew you, I was prejudiced about the bass. I was like, this deep instrument, you know, it's always like shrum shrum. It could never really sound beautiful, but you convinced me otherwise. And it sounds very melodic, and also you can play dance music, we do tangos. You can even play virtuosic music like Bottesini, which is extremely incredible. Like you play this instrument as if it would be like, you know, like a little toy for you. It's really incredible. Maybe you can tell us a bit more about these different sides. I mean, this you know, dance side, this melodic side, also the virtuosic side. What you have to do technically to make that happen, and what makes your genius playing different to other bass players who haven't achieved that level yet?
Well, I have to say nowadays there are a lot of fantastic bass players in the world. So the level has been rising like crazy, and there's so many bass players that people just don't really know, that play recitals where you would go and be like, wow, how the hell is that possible? So yeah, the level has been rising like crazy. I'm not the only one who's doing this, and there are many that play much better than me. But you know what is interesting, since you talked about the repertoire, there we are kind of predestined to expand a bit, because the bass is not only in every classical orchestra combo, but also in every jazz combo and every tango group. And in these music styles, the bass is really at home as well. So yeah, I love playing tango. I do many arrangements in that area. And yeah, that's why we played tonight the Grand Tango by Piazzolla. But then also in the jazz area, like I said earlier, Rhapsody in Blue by Gershwin, but also other pieces from that kind of style, like Frank Proto's Carmen Fantasy that we played tonight. I love exploring those sides because the bass fits in so well. And yeah, when you, as you mentioned also earlier, what is the difference between bass as a bass instrument? Why does it sound so different? Why do people only know that? And why it's almost like a completely different instrument? And actually, it kind of is. So in orchestra, most people have either 5-string basses or basses with extensions that go even lower, and they have different strings, so-called orchestra strings, and for solo we have solo strings. And the difference is that the solo strings not only are made to sound brilliant, especially in the high register, but also are one whole note higher. So it's a different tuning, it's a different instrument. I use completely different instruments. For solo I have one bass, for orchestra, chamber music, different bass. I use even different bows, different rosin, you know, so it actually is kind of a completely different instrument. Both are great, both I love. I love also playing the bass lines, because leading a group from, without playing the melody, but by kind of shaping the rhythm, the direction of the harmony, that is also fantastic. But yeah, many people do that, and many people do that well. And by now many people play the bass as a solo instrument well also. But I want to contribute in the best way I can by especially expanding the repertoire, adding new things and showing to as many people as I can what we have here.
I have many viewers on this channel who might have never heard a piece for solo bass or bass with piano accompaniment. Which is the one piece that you would say should be the first choice, or let's say 3 suggestions for people to explore the bass, maybe also from your album, but could also be other things?
Okay, this is very difficult, but I will choose maybe to make it as easy as possible, because with bass pieces, I said now the level is really high, but in the past it wasn't always. Okay. So sometimes when you Google a bass piece and you find a recording that's like 50 years old, might be somebody good. Back then there were good bassists, but there were a lot of bad ones, and you might find a recording where somebody plays really bad. So I will make it easy and also say who's playing and like who's recording to listen to. And it's difficult to choose 3 though, because there's so many incredible bass recordings out there. But one of my biggest heroes is Rinat Ibragimov. He used to be the principal bass in the London Symphony Orchestra, and well, he did many great recordings, but the one that I would recommend the most is the Bottesini Concerto No. 2 in B minor. You can watch it on YouTube. It has, I think, over 3 million views by now, just because he plays so beautiful. So yeah, that's one. Number 2, I would say another one of my biggest heroes, Boguslav Furtok. He's principal bass in the Frankfurt Radio Symphony Orchestra. Also has many incredible recordings online. In this case, I would choose, you can find it on Spotify and excerpts also on YouTube, Bloch's Shelomo, the famous cello piece. He played that on the bass. Or Max Bruch's Kol Nidra, it's actually in the same album. He recorded those two pieces on a CD together with the Frankfurt Radio Symphony Orchestra. And he plays so beautiful. You cannot help but fall in love with the bass when listening to that. And number 3, I would have to say, now I will name at least one recording of my own. So yeah, let's choose one of my arrangements, since I love expanding the repertoire so much. I would choose, maybe this one. I recorded about 1.5 years ago, the famous Chaconne from the second partita from Johann Sebastian Bach. It took me about 6 years to really get the piece to where it needs to be so that everything, at least in my eyes, works to the best way it can to serve the music. It's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, whatever, all the platforms. So Bach's Chaconne from my last album, Double Bass Rhapsody.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Now we've learned a lot about the bass. Now people might say we want to find out about Dominik, maybe go to one of his concerts, and you're also very present on social media. Where can people find you if they want to find out more about you?
So there's my website with all the concert dates, or at least for the next 1 or 2 months. It's always a bit of annoying to update that. And then, on social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, there will very soon be released some recordings of the two of us playing together also. So there you can also listen to this duo, which I think I'm really looking forward to tonight's concert. I think it's working quite well. Thank you for playing with me.
Yeah, cool. And thank you for watching. You can also find my concert dates and eventually concert dates together on aaronpearson.com. And if you also want to, learn how you can accompany such a great instrument on the piano, you can always apply for a first free lesson with me, aaronpearson.com/academy, where we also analyze your piano playing. But you might also study with Dominik in Würzburg or somewhere else. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you again in the next video.